Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO City Undercover. Let's continue. So we're in the pagoda area, which we'll have to double check to see if there's anything that even needs to be done in the pagoda area. There's like one police action and one car thief action in this section. We stole a car and that's why we're in this area. So really it's just gonna boil down to, can we figure out where I need to go? Let's see. The map's a little weird, I guess. Because if I go to south here, I'm out of that area. So I assume what I need to do is probably be somewhere north here and then scan around again. I'm thinking it's something that's either way in the corner or way in the front. Nothing there. Nothing there. If we can't find this, then we'll have to probably move on and just fast travel to a different area. And unfortunately, that's where this is going to kind of boil down to a lot of stuff, is that we are now in the last 20% of collectibles as I see it, and as we're in that last 20%, we're going to run into more and more scenarios where things are going to be hidden a lot more challengingly than everything else. We've done all the easy things, and like if there was a challenge to steal a boat or race a boat, that would be weird. We've got this over here, and I think at this level, by the time you hit this, you're actually in a different section of the map. Yeah, this is just, that's the firehouse exit where we exited one level. Just barely on the edge. Oh, there's one of those. Those seem to be laying hidden amongst the entirety of the world, because I found one of those in the entire... What's this? Let's just go get that, whatever it is. I found another one of those little devil symbols in the airport section. In theory, I should now be able to go in circles and scan for something if there's anything to scan for.
Put pickle in my sandwich again. I hate pickle. She knows I hate pickle.
I don't think that that's
It's easier than making
something that needs to be shot. I think that this is just a color swapper. Yeah. And I don't think the game really saves that stuff. So, in this area, we have a car stealing thing and a drill thrill, and that's all that's left.
Hey, what's up?
So
I should be spending my day off doing something more constructive.
I guess that's supposed to be a pun. I should be spending my days doing something more constructive is like a Lego pun. It's not a great pun, but I guess it makes sense. A lot of these gags, a lot of these jokes are terrible. It might also be that the last few things are just not unlocked yet. So this may be a case of I'm looking for the last few things that need to be done in this area, and the few things that need to be done in this area cannot be done yet. Let's see. And all I can really do is hope and look around and with the scanner and see if the scanner possibly can show me a way. The only way I'd ever be able to get on top of that is through some teleporter. And I have no clue where that teleporter would be. Or a helicopter. And that's just a super brick. So having a constant drumbeat, not desirable. By the way, like, not something anybody's gonna ask for. Particularly since they didn't even do you the kindness of having a parade. Like, if there was a parade on the street, if there was a section of the street that was blocked off, and the drumbeat led to a stationary group of Lego minifigs marching, that would have been cool. That would have been something we really don't see much of, or we've never seen before at all. But just having a general sound is not what we want. The RFA still having its logo all over the place. Kind of makes it feel like there's some kind of conspiracy or evil organization running around Lego City. Just because I don't know what the RFA is supposed to stand for. And if I did, somebody told me what RFA was supposed to stand for, I'm sure it would be a generic and disappointing explanation. Yeah, we're kind of struggling here. Like, we still aren't at the point yet where it's absolutely impossible to find anything to go for, but we're approaching that point quickly. Did I get everything in this library? Looks like I did. Alright. We'll just run against this wall, clipping through it the whole time. And it feels like that was the way I was supposed to get to that point. We'll look around and see if we see anything. We don't. So, well, we'll just keep running. Maybe you have to collect a certain number of super bricks to unlock certain things. That might be the case. You see, I'm about to leave one part of the city to the next part of the city. The only other thought is that there's something just on top of that building, which kind of makes sense but kind of doesn't when some of the things that we need to collect are stealing cars, for instance. I don't know how you do that from the top of a building. Plus, we've already gotten the highest point in that area, so that's 89% done there, where this is 84% done here. So this is a good area to try and see if we can find. The problem, I think, with coming here, though, is it all, I think, centers around getting up to the top of the Lego building that is here. I think a significant portion of what needs to be collected does center around getting to the top of that building. Down on the ground, I'm not really seeing anything. And there's nothing here. Then you have this whole bank, which we got to the top of that. And yep. And see, this was the one that felt like I totally was gonna need a helicopter to get to. Let's see. Well, there's something we can get. Yeah, there's no less than 3 things at the top of that building. But we'll try and get this one. Start with that. See how that plays. Right. Maybe that is the trick. We go from here. Farmer.
With that raise, I think I earn more than him.
Climb up this. Come on. They made that those plants particularly too tall. It doesn't seem like there's anything else in this way. Okay. So what I'm going for is that rope. Is there a way to get to that rope? Because either that's the move, or you're supposed to get from that point and work your way in here, which that doesn't really make sense. This just flies you in that direction. And this, I think, might teleport you to Liberty Island? Nope. It teleports you right there. Okay. So let's just be careful. And hope this works. Oh, seriously. Well, that will work if I don't screw it up. way too many of these jumps happen like that. They're a little awkward. They're not smooth. They're not magnetizing the player's feet to where they should land. I assume some of that has to do with the PC port in particular. I heavily suspect that if you played this game on a console, you would not have anywhere as much frustration. That has been my experience in the past with playing other LEGO games, is that the Xbox 360 versions of the games are particularly perfect. They just work. So we didn't need a helicopter to get to this point. And that's one more district conquered. One more gold brick. Now, you could slide down this way. I don't think that there's a reason to, though. I still have a super brick here that I need to build, and more things to do in the other direction. What's interesting, look in the background. At this angle right here, it looks like he's painting the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Here it looks like he's painting a Lego brick face. And then back this way, it looks like he's painting a Lego brick face again. I don't know if that's an intentional experiment on an optical illusion, or if that's just an instance of the game being weird with camera angles and reflections. Either is rather believable. Okay. Now this slides back up there. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to get up there. Let's gain some height. Let's go in the screenshot mode. And let's evaluate what we think we can do here. That building I've been to, well, to get me where I want to go. So what gets me up? Be nice if I had some kind of rocket boots or something that would let me slide up ropes. This is gonna be crazy. I'm just gonna have to run and jump and hope we make it, and of course not make it. I have no idea what would get me higher up on this building. We did get to the roof of the Lego building. But there's kind of... Unless I could have just jumped on the rope. Which might be the case. That they just programmed the rope in such a way that it works there, even though that totally wouldn't work anywhere else. If that's the case, we have to give it a try at least. And there's a great example here of a attempt that should have been done a lot more. Like, they should have tried a lot harder to make sure that there were ladders and shortcuts that opened once you got to a high place, and you weren't just going to have to climb multiple places and take an extra 5 minutes of gameplay. Right. See, you slide even at the slightest angle. So the idea that this would not be a place where you slide is kind of ridiculous. We see. Guess we could get a better visual of this if we work our way up here. Yeah, what we would need, there is something on the side here. What we would need is something that explained this very thoroughly. And had like a tether link if there was a teleporter, a wisp of air, some kind of magic energy that you could scan to say, oh, the teleporter is over in this direction. And I know that this teleporter in particular is going to be the one that takes me to that specific spot. Okay. There's something on the edge. That's how they intend for you to get up there. Best case scenario, I'm guessing, I have to jump over here and then jump from that point to reach it. That's the best I can figure. Otherwise, all you have is this. Which then, if we looked in opposite directions, unless this bull is going to kick you, I can't imagine that there's just a guy in yellow, like pure yellow over there, and all of them are in pure yellow. Seems like there's yeah, unless there's a jump point somewhere over here. This doesn't really line up with anything else. It would have to be over here, and it would be a really long jump. And if it was on that edge, I don't think that lines up quite right either. Right. Now, is it worth it to get... See if I can walk on the edge of that sign? I don't think it is. Right. So it's gotta be some kind of jump thing. It's not that the bull just kicks you. That would be too easy. There's gotta be something. But what could it be? This looks like this would have been a area that could have been colored in, but it isn't. I guess we'll test and see if there's maybe something.
Why did I have to choose a diet that stops me eating chocolate?
It really feels like there would be a trigger if that was what they wanted us to do. Yeah. There's nothing. just absolutely nothing here. Let's come over here. Let's reevaluate. If I was to do the chicken thing and then curve very quickly, would that work? I think the answer is pretty well no. Getting the sound effects. Right. So that's as far as I can go. You can see I'm on the verge of falling off the edge, and I was really close, and it's still not close enough. There's a area up there, but that doesn't look to have a grappling hook or anything on it. There's an area over here, so maybe if I worked my way around. That's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Can I now work my way back up, or am I doomed to fail? Come up here and then swap to this guy and then fly through. Clipping through a lot of things. Alright. Okay, attempt number 3. We have to go all the way back over here, climb the plant again, make it to the top, then find the area that you would not have been able to really see at all.
I have somewhere I need to be.
This is the burden by far of trying to 100% a game, and it is also a good reminder why I don't 100% most games. LEGO games in particular tends to be a lot more playable and doable than most others as far as trying to get everything in it done. That being said, this is almost turning into the exception that proves the rule. So I just have to jump and have faith that I can land, and then you have to jump and have some hope that you can make it all the way around, and that didn't really work. If I had made it there, then it would have been jumping from that point up to that point. Actually, that wouldn't have worked anyways. Yeah, there's no way that would work. So I have no clue. Just absolutely no clue what's going on with that. Like, so that's too much time invested trying to get that one thing, whereas Again, I could probably just get a helicopter and fly there. It'd be nice if the call-in points would call in a small helicopter. Alright. We do have some things over here to do. So, let's go do those. We really need to fast travel to the forest, though. I have only one more of those that needs to be done. Yeah. Doing the forest section will jump us ahead as far as progress is concerned and numbers are concerned, leaving us with just the more difficult things. It does potentially also open up the door to maybe me learning something new in that area, something that would potentially help me later on. This is a section that's so obviously just overlooked, and so easily overlooked that it's no big surprise I didn't get some very, very basic things. Just disguise token. Break that just in case that is something. I doubt there's anything big or important at the top of the buildings. Are we? We are on the verge of crossing over to the next area, which this next area, 77%. Plenty of stuff to still do. But we're gonna have to run a little bit deeper in it to find something. Let's see. I don't think I did this, but I probably should scan first before just doing it. I wish a lot of these actions were permanent. That way you'd have a nice marker to tell you whether you've done something or not. Apparently I have done that already.
Another fine day at LEGO City.
Is there seriously nothing for all I can see? There's seriously nothing anywhere close to this. I've just cleaned out this entire section. Alright, well then let's just target that general direction. I guess these round areas are benches, but they seem to be places where you'd plant trees, but they don't have trees.
Hey,
Interesting, there's no statue super build here. Let's go back into scan mode. No important rocks to break. Nothing anywhere. Then this was the one clue that I couldn't figure out. It's the cannon, but the cannon doesn't do anything. And it's not like it's counting all the cannons. Or anything. So it's not like a timed thing. Let's get to the top of this building. I don't think I've done that before. Man, this really has just gotten really grindy. Really, yeah, we've been up here. Like, really grindy. And as far as I know, this is a bug. That's about all I can figure. Unless it's supposed to be something else. Like under the building. But if this was supposed to be something else under the building, I don't get it. Okay, so I guess we just have to move forward and deal with the micro stuttering, which I have to say it again, don't I? It's happening. It's not that bad. It still kind of sucks, though. It still totally sucks that it exists. Yeah, there's no less than 3 things in this area, in this building. There's this color gun, which there's a time trial, and there's a police apprehend station. So I guess we take the taxi time trial. So the thing about this is there's an achievement for taking a taxi, but it, I think, has to have a person in it, which I don't think this one does, and you have to jump 11 jumps. So unless this does just manage to have us do 11 jumps, I would be really surprised. That would mean this race is longer by far than any other of the races.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
And because of that, we'd probably have to go the entirety of the map in the open world. This is difficult, to say the least. Tight bins.
You'll be fine.
I think we're going mostly in circles now. Come on. We're driving right next to where you would deliver a car if it was stolen, but that's kind of not what this is doing. So that's just bad level design. Clearly they made 2 races and combined it, split the concept. So the reason why you wanted to do that is because that gives you a full circle. Notice how those characters weren't moving until after the animation played. Alright, we just need to now figure out how to get up to the top of this building. This is where we're going next. It's just how. How does one get to the top of that building? I think we can cheat this kind of easily if we do that, yeah. Get between the banners. That brings us up here. That brings us over here. Jump, 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 jump. We'll just chicken our way over that. We'll power our way over that. And then we need Chase. Okay. And it points you in the direction you're supposed to look. It's so dumb. Now this police chase sequence won't play the way the time trial will. So we have to chase after the bad guy, cutting as many corners as possible because of the massive amount of rubber banding this has. Sometimes it feels like if you stay on the street, when they decide not to stay on the street, you're guaranteed getting lost there. And sometimes it seems like you can cut them off at the pass. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. He's gone. We told the wrong direction, I think. Let's see. Yeah. And this is a case of where we can jump out of the car if we wanted to. And in this instance, I think it's going to become necessary. Alright. So here's the deal. Summon in a new car, press Y. I think you probably lose anyways because you're not in the car you started with. This card that you summon in by default, which I guess this is just the last one I selected, is not helpful. There's nothing special about it. I'm just gonna see if I can figure out where he's supposed to be.
Hope they're okay.
Another one of these. These robber has escaped. Alright. Long story short, these suck. They just straight up suck. They don't guarantee a victory for a kid's game. That's kind of unacceptable. They take way too long, and it's way too easy to just crash into the terrible AI cars that, in retrospect, should have not had AI in them at all, and should probably pull over and disappear in general. Like, if these were law-abiding citizens, you hear a siren, you pull over to the side, you let it pass. Nobody is doing that. Nobody is stopping and slowing down. That's what you're supposed to do. Pull over to the side and stop. So if you want to teach kids the proper way to drive in a driving game, which should probably be a bit of a priority, you need to program your AI to do that, or just get them out of the way in this during the race. At least keep them off the main street that the criminals are gonna drive on. Maybe you see them in incidences. Did I get them upside down? There we go. There you go. We'll just back into them. There we go.
I'm out of here.
There you go.
Stop, or I will keep running after you.
Right. There we go. Got him. There's 3 more of those we have to do.
Oh dear, I shall be too late.
Hey, I found a couple things. There's a drill thrill over there, and a car stealing thing over there. So let's take advantage of those. Here we go. Fix this. This might be the last few things in this area. This is gonna be weird. Alright, but whatever. We'll just make sure we get everything over in this section, and then we're gonna try everything to come over here, and then switch back over to this. And get everything. Now the hopes are that we got everything everywhere else. And we did. Good. Notice here we've broken something and then we can't build it because it's already there, or we build it in place. So there's another example of the game glitching. Right. So this car stealing shenanigans is here. Doesn't look like there's anything else in this area. Alright. So come over this way, turn around, switch to this guy. This will be a great excuse to get out of this region, but we'll probably just have to fast travel. What they really failed to do in this, I think more than most of their many failures in telling their story, is they failed to introduce a farmer criminal syndicate, which, let's face it, there's in the United States probably a decent number of farmers that are, you know, growing marijuana, selling drugs, making moonshine, things like that. All kinds of other terrible things that you probably wouldn't put in a kid's game. So chop shopping and stealing cars and taking it to a farm in the farm region makes sense, and it would give us a reason to go to the farm region or the forest region pretty easily, instead of driving these stolen cars to the same 4, maybe 5 locations of what feels like 15 different locations that exist on the map. Or you just need to, they needed to maybe double the drop-off points for the gangs that were introduced. We need to go and look under this area at some point. There's almost certainly something hidden in there. Yeah, we're still having micro stuttering issues. The one thing we didn't get at the airport, which seems like where we're going to end here, is we really didn't get a fast travel location unlocked. And that would be helpful, because there is actually a helipad in this section. It would be a slow experiment, but it would be an interesting experiment to see what happens if you were to just drive one of those races without using the turbo. Maybe it's the turbo that's adding the micro stuttering, maybe it isn't. Panacea is the name of that ambulance we just stole. Which, honestly, if you're gonna steal an ambulance, that probably is about one of the most expensive, not highly secured types of cars you could steal. But then there'd be a bunch of drugs in it, so you're racking up the charges against yourself if you get caught. And I don't suppose it's particularly easy to find a buyer for a stolen ambulance. Let's see. Where are we? There's this time trial that doesn't seem to want to unlock. So there's something, some kind of final location that time trial takes you to that I haven't reached. My guess, if I was just to suspect, where's this lead? Nowhere? Absolutely nowhere. Let's see. Gotta be standing up here to make that jump. Make that jump. So, my guess is somewhere on the top of this tower I missed a time trial thing. And that's what I was supposed to hit. So, let's look around here and see if that's the case. Even though this is made out of Lego, it still doesn't look particularly Lego-y. Looks close to being Lego-y, but it's not varied in its color scheme as much as I would like, or so fluent with bricks. Okay. Okay. So we have a clue here. I don't know where that clue goes. We have a time trial here that doesn't seem like it wants to start. I believe maybe there's a police action over there. Let's look at the map and see if that's the case. Yeah, there's like, no, that's all of Lego City. At Lego Airport in particular. There's a police chase sequence in the time trial. And one break. And that's it. There's a fast travel location so we can get back to this area. So let's do something different. Let's use the helicopter. This is what we've been trying to get around to doing anyways. We'll purchase some helicopters while we're here, and that will, I'm sure, point us up to being closer to being completely done. That looks like a pretty good one. Alright. So you jump in this, and then it kind of, I forgot how you even fly in this actually. Can't even fly through that. Interesting. So you can't go into scan mode as it is. Some of these buildings are going to be like full barriers because these are like areas you're not supposed to be able to reach. And take note, I'm pressing Y right now and I'm pressing B. There's nothing that's gonna let me get in this area. So this whole section is just designed and then never used. That's pretty bad. We do see an area where you can land over here. So it seems like that's how this is gonna work. For better or worse, you're only able to use the flying ability to get to a few locations. Let's hope this doesn't teleport us somewhere terrible. Okay. Net wants us to fly way all the way, I bet, to that big round building. Which there looks like there might be a helicopter section around that. Okay, I don't want to fall too far here. So you go one way or you go the other. Either way, you really can't do both things because you can't get the pig to jump off this ledge and stay on the ledge, which is what we would need to be able to do. Jump around, getting everything. You don't really have to get up on the edge there. So now it's just up here. I have a whole minute, so I have plenty of time. As long as I didn't miss something down there. I didn't. And that will just bring me back. No, it won't bring me back to where I was. So only one more of those to do in the entire overworld. Okay. So the hope would be to figure out some way to get to the top of that and make the pig jump down. We also have over here another disguise token, so we should go get that first. This is a Lego ledge, so we should be safe. Boy, this is slow, and I don't want to jump. Mike Northeast. Another terrible name. It's weird, Lego minifig characters don't get named. It would frankly be too much work for what Lego does. Lego's kind of lazy in some ways, and them localizing a name to some kind of pun all around the world is beyond something I think they would ever spend the time for. That being said, they are naming a few characters, so maybe their intentions have changed, but when this game was being made, they definitely weren't doing that. Mostly they're giving a name to the firefighter woman for their new cartoon series, and not sure if they're doing too much otherwise. Seems like this might have been some way to get into a level or something, but it's not something I can do right now. And here we have some very generic non-Lego air conditioners next to Lego air conditioners, which don't make a lot of sense. These domes, by the way, I just realized are the same domes from Lego Star Wars from so long ago. Like, they totally are the exact ones. Right, so it seems like if I can get close enough to get a yellow prompt, I might be able to just hit yellow and hit the Y button, kind of Y prompt. There's also, I guess, an easier way to do this, isn't there? Could just do this. Okay, so when you jump off in that ledge, he just jumps off. So I can have him jump, but he won't go forward unless I'm going forward with him. So it's not like I can go jump Y and then get off of it fast enough. So I have to do this. So this is another great example of them just making the game a little bit unfun because it's making me do the same thing twice. When the only way I could think maybe I could have gotten around that is if I had started the floating downward with the chicken and then tried to ride the pig. I guess maybe that would have worked. So, but even this, it's not gonna work perfectly because I start here. Fast travel. I'm gonna have to run to this open gate. Is there anything in any of this, by the way? No. I'm gonna have to run to this open gate, and then if I can do it just right, I can get on the tail of this plane, and then what I'm gonna try and do is get to the ledge and then fly around to the other ledge And once we get over to this ledge, then we're in. Then we'll just summon a different helicopter, a fire helicopter this time. Might as well try them all. So that's a great example of actually it proving that it isn't really the last thing that you it really isn't the last thing you flew in or picked. It is just by default giving you the first option. Let me see if there's something over here. So you have a pole that lets you slide over to this that has a teleportation thing. So how is one supposed to get up there? Seems like you're supposed to actually get up there using the fan blades. Get to the top of that building. I'm not sure if there's actually anything that I need to worry about over there, so we'll have to check that. And I guess you have to be moderately low before you get the Y prompt to jump. But that time it showed a full animation. Alright. Which is interesting. I guess we got everything that was over there. Which is fine. That I'm more than happy to not have to do things. But no longer are we going to get these large gaps and large jumps of progress. Unfortunately, it's... Oops. That's oopsie. Apparently I need to activate the super chicken again, even though it's showing me in a faded out way. That's probably just an example, I guess, of the game not being programmed well to de-animate these if you leave the area. So one ring gives you, if it has a feather, it gives you a boost. If it doesn't have a feather, it doesn't give you a boost. Okay, that's understandable. And I think moderately doable. I'm falling somewhat low in some of these rings, but I think they're glitched too and not disappearing, which is whatever. Again, this might be something that would have been better off as a QuickTime event. Something where the player, the kid, could just try his best but not really fail. So that's probably number 4 of the police badges. Yeah, 4 out of 5. And that dome just knocked studs all over the place. Alright. Before we get off the top of this dome, the important question is there anything else that needs to be collected? I think the answer is probably no. Mummy sounds. I didn't realize my character would make mummy sounds as he walks. Oh, man. My controller doesn't want to stay in the same direction Really is acting wonky. Okay. So, for the uptown area, there's one more character token and 2 more gold bricks that need to be collected somewhere. There's also a fast travel area, so we know we really haven't hit that either. I would suspect it's somewhere around here in this general area. Let's see, we're 90% otherwise. There's in total just the fast travel area and the highest point area, which one has to assume that the highest point might have been at the top of that museum that's slanted, because it wasn't anywhere else that I could find. Let's just take a moment to look around. Yeah. That building, those buildings are high. I almost walked off the edge, but they're not really the highest of the high points. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like that's the highest point. Higher than that. And this is just glitched. And we're fairly certain we're not going to get to the top of any of those buildings. And I suspect that somewhere around this general area is something else. One other thing. Maybe this is the highest point they want us to reach. It's labeled as districts conquered. It's not labeled as the highest point. I just have been assuming that they meant highest point. This area is at 76% done. This area is at 87% done. Let's see. 100%. 68%. We've been trying to stay uptown. 97% in that area. 90% in this area, 100% there, 87% here, 97% here, 94% here. As far as these islands, I believe they are all 100%ed. Is this bridge 100%ed? No, this bridge has 12%, so I need to go back and remind myself to look at that bridge. This island over here is 100%. As far as Cherry Tree Hills, we're at 92%, and we're at 100. No, we're at 96%. Interesting. So it seems like either things keep unlocking, or something weird is going on. We need to clearly go in these 2 areas, though, and just spend a good hour looking for everything there. Overall, percentage-wise, we're at 82.1%, so there's we're into the last fifth of gameplay, and that's a weird thing to say, certainly, because it feels like it really should just be 3, maybe 4 more hours of gameplay, but it may be a lot more. It just depends on, can we fast travel to the helicopter? Do we have to fast travel to the helicopter to get to a lot of locations? I think the answer to that is probably true, that every single location on the map that we just looked at, probably, if it's not 100%ed already, requires me to find a helicopter landing spot, land in that spot, reach some area that I can't even see because it's so high, and collect a few more things. 245 of 305 character tokens, 102 of 120 vehicle tokens unlocked, and 378 of 450 gold bricks. So we're grinding away, making progress, but still have a lot to do. that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.